guys, welcome back to the Coffee and Heroes podcast. Back with you after a week or two's break. I was flying solo. I stuck a wee episode out on my own, but it's just not the same without my four-color compatriot to chat away with. So as always, your host Alan from Coffee and Heroes in Belfast, and joined again, it's Keith Miller. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, and good job flying solo without me. You landed that plane, but I also landed in the plane, and I'm happy to be back after a lovely 2 weeks in sunny Spain.
Yeah, as I was toiling away, in my, loft, putting stuff together, Keith's just sunning himself up on a beach with a margarita in his hand, no doubt. And I'm not in any way jealous at all. But yeah, he's back feeling refreshed and with a lot of comics to catch up on
Yeah,
is the
buddy, 3 weeks
byproduct of that.
worth. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. So of course we'll get to, all the comics and, bits and pieces that we've been chatting about. We always just like to jump in with a wee bit of sort of comic news and a little chat here and there. I mean, something really exciting that I did have while you were away was a Zoom call with DC. Now, I talk about this all the time, DC especially, but now Image are starting to do them. These Zoom calls with creators are
Oh,
fantastic. They
yeah.
give stores access to creators. Creators essentially are pitching their projects, and they are able to get us excited for them
hmm
and give us an idea of sort of what we should be aiming for order-wise and stuff like that. So the Zoom call with DC was great because it was with, so it's not just me, I should specify also, it's, stores get invited. There's maybe 100 stores on the line for every call. But weirdly, not a lot of UK stores, which I don't get.
Mm.
I maybe see three or four UK stores on these things. And again, having this level of access to me is a necessity. So with this
But then,
latest
I
one,
mean, you know, because of the podcast, you and I are probably a wee bit more, you know, internal with a lot of the industry, with the creators and whatnot. So I don't know if there's any other store in the
yeah,
UK that
to a
does that
degree,
sort of
but
thing.
as a store, I mean, if you have access, for example, so this Zoom call was all about the absolute titles, and if you have access to, DC's biggest writer at the moment and DC's biggest artist for DC's biggest title that has reinvigorated interest in DC Comics and has probably, therefore translated the success for your store, why would you not want to be part of I just don't get it.
Yeah.
It's an hour long. It's not like you're giving up tons of your time. You don't have to pay for it. For us, it's at like 5 o'clock in the afternoon. It's not just during business hours. It's
Mhm.
it's actually more awkward for American stores who are part of it because they're having to take time out of like business hours or else have someone else run their stores or whatever. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
yeah,
this
this was
was
with
this was this was Scott Snyder. It was Nick
yeah,
Dragotta,
so
was it?
it's with Scott Snyder, Nick Dragotta was there. We had Pornsec Pisha Show, which we know from a title we love called The Good Asian,
Good Asian, yeah.
among other stuff. The artist Raphael Albuquerque, who's well known through American Vampire, Superman Unlimited. So they're doing the absolute Green Arrow together. So there's just lots of information about stuff that's upcoming, and I don't know if you've since seen the reveal, but they revealed to us the full cover for Absolute Batman 20, which is introducing the Robins. And
Okay.
obviously, with the absolute line, there's all these different takes on these well-established characters and unique ways of presenting them and all the rest. So they showed us the cover because they wanted to get retailers on board, essentially. And Snyder's very good about this. He'll sort of talk about it. It's impossible as a comic creator trying to balance not wanting to spoil too much, but making sure you know about certain events so that your ordering is good and you're not, left the week it comes out with like this really hot book and you've no copies on the rack. So he's pretty good at towing that line. But they then released the image to the general public on Wednesday. I don't know if you've seen it or not.
I don't think
You would
so.
know if you'd seen it, believe me.
Right.
So obviously they had the teaser image that was just this big R and it was Batman standing in front of it. So everyone was like, is it going to be Nightwing? Is it going to be, or sorry, is it
hmm
going to be Dick Grayson? Is it going to be Tim Drake? Is it whatever? There's five Robins. There's going to be
Okay.
Tim Drake. There's going to be Dick Grayson. There's going to be Stephanie Brown. There's going to be Duke from the New 52 run. And most importantly, there's a Jason Todd. Oh, Jason Todd fans, you can relax. And they're all in these huge, big, massive mecha suits.
Oh, right.
It's
Okay.
a crazy image, but I put it in our group chat. I obviously didn't spoil, what the image was or what the details were because it hadn't been made public. But I said this book's about to go to another level. And I think that's true because every Robin has its own dedicated fan base. So rather than alienate some of those fan bases and just pick one, they went, let's throw them all in.
The
So
Robins. Okay.
yeah, that book's going to be huge, I think.
Cool.
And Red Hood's front and center. The Red Hood's sort of making he's the biggest. And yeah, I mean, it's been a tough time for Red Hood fans in the last few years, between cancelled books and, stagnant appearances and, whatever else. So,
Hmm.
yeah, they talked about that. But like Snyder went into details on like what's going to happen in 21 and who's going to be introduced in 22 and 23. And just this level of detail and forward planning is just exceptional. And again, these calls with retailers are superb. I mean, I've done a couple of them with Image creators as well for their upcoming books, and again, I hate that this almost seems like I'm ragging on Marvel all the time, but they do none of this. Absolutely none of this, and it's crazy to me. It's a free resource. Get talking to retailers, make them feel better about what's coming out, reassure them that the future's bright. But sometimes Marvel's silence is deafening, and it just seems so simple to me. And it's not like Chip Zdarsky does a lot of like Zoom calls and chatting to retailers and podcast interviews and all this kind of stuff. And obviously he's in a bit of a position of power in Marvel at the moment with Armageddon coming out and
Mm.
this Captain America series and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah,
Someone please speak to the higher ups at Marvel and go, we need to engage with stores and talk to them and tell them
yeah,
what's coming out in the next 6 months. Stop keeping everything secret.
yeah, exactly.
So
And tell me, so you had Pisha Shooty and Albuquerque on there as well, talking about Absolute
yeah,
Green
so they
Arrow.
were talking about Absolute Green Arrow. The one sort of big nugget out of that one is that DC basically are not introducing an absolute book if they don't have a plan in place that if it's successful and fans want more, that they can't give them more. So there's every chance that Green Arrow becomes 12, the way Martian Manhunter became
Hmm.
12.
Hmm.
Same with Absolute Catwoman. But they're being really frugal about it. They said if like those two books became 12 issues or ongoings or whatever, they wouldn't do any other books while those books are going because they don't
Okay.
want to
Yep.
oversaturate the market. And,
Yep.
it's you only have to look at sometimes the way we color pull lists and stuff like that. That you know, one of the reasons we cut it is because there's too many titles.
Yeah.
So the
Yeah. Yeah.
last thing
Yeah.
I think DC want is to curtail their momentum by going, here's 15 absolute books. I think people will get fed up quickly. So
I've been
keep it
doing a
tight.
lot of cutting this week.
Yeah, keep. And how many of them were Marvel?
A few, a few.
Well, I mean, why don't
Yeah.
we go there next, actually, because we're going to throw in a few. We're going to talk about comics quickly, just while I'm on my little rant
We're
here
talking
about
about
Marvel.
comics on a comic podcast. What?
I know. Well, before we get to what we've enjoyed and what we've been reading and stuff like that, but I had mentioned to you about Ultimate Endgame, and I know like everyone has their own theories about why Marvel are ending the Ultimate Universe. Whatever, they want a standalone story, they want something that sits great on a shelf as it is. I have my cynical view of they want to link it up more with the movies, and they don't want a middle-aged Peter Parker with kids when a new Spider-Man movie is coming out. Maybe they're getting ready to wipe the slate clean, this whole Armageddon event or whatever.
No, let's
But
be let's
this,
be let's be
and
let's
again, these
be
are all just
fair.
theories.
Yeah,
These are
let's
all
be fair.
theories.
They did say at the start that it was going to be, the story was set for 2 years. It was set for 24 months. There was a ticking clock from the very
No,
beginning.
no, 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 no. They said the Return of the Maker was in 24 months.
Yeah, well,
They
true
didn't
that,
say it was
true
going to be
that.
24 issues. They didn't say this ends in 2 years. They said in 2 years' time, the
The
Maker
Maker
will come back.
returns. Yeah.
And for me, that would be the kickstart for the next big story arc,
Right.
the big
Okay.
bad
Okay.
arrives. But reading Ultimate Endgame, and it's interesting. You and I are actually in total agreement in this. It is not good. It
No,
is, and we're a bastion for positivity on this
no,
podcast.
the
But
last two
it is
issues
not
certainly.
good at all. And
Issues two
issue
and three
three,
were
oh my
oh.
God, it felt like a slap in the face for everything you had read for 2 years to that point.
Uh, I didn't feel slapped in the face. I just was like, okay, right, this is the end of this for me. Uh,
I
issue
mean, that's the
two,
ultimate slap in the face, though.
you
That's the
know,
ultimate. It's like, I want
issue
no more part of this.
issue two was pretty terrible for me. Uh, it was just really slow and fillery, and that didn't read right at all in terms of the characters. And issue three was kind of like a just a fucking rubbish fire. It was bad.
Dumpster
It
fire.
was,
Let us pour more petrol on this dumpster fire.
yeah, but also, I mean, the so I suppose the big moment in it was the death of Peter Parker. But God,
Not
I
in
didn't.
any sort of heroic way, not in a way
No,
that he
but
saves
also,
people,
I,
not in a self-sacrificial way, not in a I'm passing the torch to my son way. He just dies.
He was,
for no
yeah, yeah, he
reason.
did, yeah, but also it made me realize that I was not in the least wee bit attached to that character. That
Do you think Ultimate
Ultimate
Spider-Man?
Spider-Man.
I mean, I don't think the second volume will, and I mean, this is true of anything, I think, because the first volume's so incredible. I don't think it was ever going to be held even close to the first volume.
Oh no, I was thinking that actually this
But
morning.
I,
It doesn't compare to the other original
but
Ultimate
I
Spider-Man.
think I think it's gonna fade away very quickly.
I'd say so. Yeah, I think part of that was, how whatever happened internally with Hickman and him walking away from it, walking away from the Ultimate Universe generally.
Yeah,
But I don't know. I kind of found because so much of Ultimate Spider-Man was filler, and there was an awful lot of middle-aged Peter Parker whining.
there
I
wasn't
felt,
even an awful lot of Spider-Man. Do you not think like Gwen
mm,
Stacy in it had more character development
yeah.
than
So
Peter
I
had?
just, yeah. So I wasn't in the least wee bit.
Do you think we were hoodwinked slightly just by how great that Marco Cicchetto art was?
Probably, probably. Yeah. I mean, there was an awful lot of filler. And there's also that, you know, that whole Peter, Mary Jane, the whole part of fandom that feels they need to be married and is not going to stop crying until they are married. So, they got that in the Ultimate Spider-Man. Um, but I was like, meh, okay, right. Just make a good, just make a good Amazing Spider-Man book, which they're doing all right with. I have to say, Joe
Yeah,
Kelly is doing a good job. He's still shouldering the holdover from the Zeb Wells run,
well stuff.
and I think you'll always find that. I think if you have a run on a character that is not appreciated, like largely Zeb Wells' run was, the next writer is going to need time to gain
Yeah.
trust there and gain trust back in the comic. And I think we're starting to see that now. Um, yeah, so yeah, I just do a decent Amazing Spider-Man. Forget about all these. To some extent, the same for me applies to the Absolute Universe again because I'm not as invested in DC. It's entertaining stuff, but for me, it's not Batman. It's not Superman, and I can let it go quite handily because, as far as I'm concerned, it's a what if. It's an Elseworlds. It just happens to be a very good Elseworlds. Uh, you know,
Well, I think what's interesting with DC though is that obviously there's a lot of emphasis on the absolute stuff, but when they did the whole All In initiative, there was just as much emphasis on the core line.
mm.
And it felt like for a little while there, maybe it was just because Zeb Wells' run wasn't well received and it was coming to its end, but it really felt like Ultimate Spider-Man was carrying the load for
For a
Spider-Man
wee while,
fans.
yeah, for a wee while it
Whereas
was,
if
yeah,
you're a Batman fan, the mainline book is just as good as Absolute or just as
yeah, yeah,
engaging, but it's a
yeah.
different style of storytelling. So,
And for me, I'm much more invested in that Bruce Wayne than
well, that's our Bruce Wayne.
yeah, exactly than
That's easy
than
to say. I
than
mean,
yeah,
like it's easy sometimes to look at the Absolute stuff as you said, it's sort of a what if, it's sort of a reinvention. It's hard to move away from the fact that it's just cool and it
it is
feels
cool, yeah,
cool. You know what I
absolutely.
mean?
It's yeah,
So, um, I do think it'll stand the test of time the way like an Ultimate Spider-Man has, like the first volume, because the first volume here we are, what, 25, 30 years later,
yeah.
and people are still like, can you get me the omnibus? Oh,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
need to read
we've
this.
just
And
finished collecting the omnibus
yeah,
editions,
this whole run's
yeah,
fantastic. And it is. I
yeah,
mean, that run is up there probably with the best Amazing
yeah,
Spider-Man runs.
100%. Yeah.
So yeah, I'll just be curious to see how the Ultimate line, the modern one, is looked at in a couple of years. Like, is there any sort of staying power there for it? Because it felt like it burned really bright at the start, and then just a level of confusion just set in, and
Yeah,
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 it's just
100%,
not ending in a satisfactory way to the
yeah,
point where, you've read all of Ultimates, you've read all of Ultimate Spider-Man,
yeah.
Ultimate Wolverine.
Ultimate Black Panther.
Ultimate Black Panther, and then here we are at the event to tie it all together, and you're 3 issues in, you're like, no, not for me.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's
Just
that's a shame.
yeah.
That's a
It
shame.
is. It is, yeah. It just
So,
but yeah, again, I'm in a place though where I am, as we sort of talked about off camera, that I'm definitely trying to be a wee bit more discerning in terms
mhm,
of where my pound goes.
yeah,
And I'm just not interested in supporting something that they're just isn't delivering for me,
yeah,
sort of creatively, narratively. So I'm just kind of going, right. I have limited amount of time, a limited amount of money. So if something's just not ticking the box, and as you said before, I can be pretty cold with it, as in, I mean, I'm trying to get away from that collector sort of
OCD,
completionist sort
yeah,
of, yeah. So if something, that's two issues that of Ultimate Endgame that were absolute rubbish. So why should I drop another fiver on the fourth just to complete the set?
Yeah.
So it's
No, you're the cold assassin of our store. In terms of like dead to me, it's fine. There are 50 other comics I can choose from. It's all
exactly.
good. I'll be
Yeah.
fine.
Yes.
But but anyway, enough of this negativity. We're
Yeah, yeah,
uh
yeah.
we're a bastion of positivity, as I say. I mean, in the sort of the world of comics and the world of entertainment, it's sort of been a busy period recently
Yeah.
for live
Yeah.
action stuff.
Busy month.
We've recently had the second Supergirl trailer drop. Now,
Yeah.
I personally haven't watched it. I don't know if this is the first time you're ever tuning in with this or you watch this all the time, whatever. I'm just not a big trailer guy. I watched the first trailer. That's
Yeah.
enough. Years ago, to my detriment, when Batman v Superman came out, my excitement levels were at such fever pitch that I watched every trailer, every international trailer, every TV spot, trying to piece together all this stuff. And while I still have a lot of enjoyment and a lot of time for BBS, especially in its Ultimate Edition form, don't worry, Stuart, that is the only edition that matters. I felt like I'd seen nearly the whole movie by the time I
Yeah,
went to
yeah,
the
yeah.
cinema to see it.
Yeah, yeah.
So I watch one trailer now to get a sense of what it's like, the tone, the look of it, whatever. And after that, I'm like, right, I'm sold. If
But
I
you and
really
I are
need to be sold on it, I might watch a second.
yeah,
We'll see.
you and I are kind of the same in that we're both interested in watching a movie for the movie and seeing as much of the movie in the movie than before the movie. We're not
As it
interested
was meant to be, yeah.
in watching trailers and trying to decode the story before the movie or be pre-critical of it.
Yeah.
We'll try and you just go right. Okay, well, you know what, Supergirl. We've seen Supergirl in the Superman movie.
Hmm.
We know that the Supergirl story is going to be based on Tom King's Woman of Tomorrow. That's ding ding, brilliant. Okay,
Yeah.
so like you, I watched the first trailer and went, that is
Looks
me.
fun.
I'm
Looks
already
colorful,
I'm
looks
already
bright.
sold. Yeah,
Yep, I'm
yeah,
in. So yeah, I don't really
100%.
see the point in watching multiple trailers. Again, one trailer is enough. I mean, you've a wee note here about Masters of the Universe. I know that's something that's very close to your heart.
Oh yeah,
I know that you absolutely despise the 1980s movie.
yeah.
Uh,
I'm not a fan of it because
I
it did
don't mind it
not.
for
Yeah,
its cheesiness. It's not a Masters, it's kind of like when I talk about the Constantine movie. It's not really a Constantine movie, but it's a fun movie.
yeah, yeah.
But I can understand if you're like a more Masters Universe purist, you're like,
Well, I
this is
remember
Masters Universe.
do you know
But the
what it
first,
was? Do you know, whenever
you go
whenever it
ahead, you
was
go ahead.
released, whenever it was released, and I saw it at the cinema whenever I was a child, I got that feeling. That feeling whenever you maybe walk into a comic movie or whatever, and it just doesn't do what you want it to do, and you're like,
Yeah,
oh, I'm disappointed. I remember the disappointment of childhood going in and going, this isn't He-Man,
yeah,
and knowing that whenever I was a kid. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, what are they
yeah.
doing?
You
Why?
forgive a lot when you're a kid. I mean,
Yeah,
I had that
exactly.
feeling with Batman and Robin. When I walked out, I was like, that's not what I want it to be. But to bring it back full circle, that Masters Universe movie from the trailer and the stuff I've seen
Looks
looks
great.
really
It
promising.
looks great. The cast is brilliant. It looks like it's just the right tone. Yeah, so it's not very often you can see Jared Leto in a movie and go, I'm excited about this, but I
I
am
was going to
excited
say, is
about
it going to
this.
break the Jared Leto franchise killer curse that he
It might
is?
it might do, and no less, but it's also released on my birthday, so that's exactly what I'm going to be doing.
Then, of course, speaking live action stuff, Disney Plus is quite busy at the moment with some really good stuff. I mean, Daredevil Born
Yeah,
Again season 2 is hit. I've only watched the first episode so far,
yeah. So
just because Vicky was away and we watched it together. Had to
four
wait for her to
episodes
come back.
in as of this week. I
Yep.
caught up on them over the last couple of nights. Very, very enjoyable stuff. Great stuff. Just a lovely sort of pulls on elements from the Hawkeye series, obviously from the Daredevil Netflix series. It just as great. Charlie Cox is hot. He is something else. But it's and Deborah Ann Wall, her involvement in it has really upped. So yeah, it's very, very good. Good focus on Bullseye as well. So very much enjoying that, adapting the Devil's Reign storyline to some extent.
Yeah.
And they also, of course, dropped the Punisher One More Kill one
Yeah,
shot
so
trailer.
it's like a one shot the way they did Werewolf by Night. Obviously, this Punisher is, spinning out of being introduced in the Daredevil TV show initially in
Hmm.
season 2, and then obviously got their own show. And then, of course, Punisher we're going to be seeing in Spider-Man later in the year.
That's right.
as
That's
well,
right.
along with Hulk. So, because as we know, Tom Holland's Spider-Man cannot just have a movie to himself. He needs people to carry him apparently in every single movie.
I don't think
Yeah, I
that's the
mean,
case, but
yeah, I mean, Bernthal, he's born to play Punisher, and
yeah,
he's
yeah.
one of those actors that if I know he's in something, like he reminds me of like I don't know, a Steve Buscemi or a Philip
Yep.
Seymour Hoffman. Like if he's in it, I know that's going to elevate it.
Yeah, yeah.
So you know that's going to be great. Even I mean, they call it one more kill. Like are they trying to write Frank out in some way, or is this like a launch pad for more stuff? We shall see. But no, D Disney
Yeah,
Plus have been doing some good stuff recently. I mean, they really course corrected for Born Again. I remember they had to go back to the drawing board with it and go more in line with the Netflix series. And I'm so glad they did because it just slots in nicely to it.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, just whenever you're talking about Bernthal, I saw, I don't know if you've ever watched that YouTube series, Hot Ones.
Yes, the interview
Uh,
show with the hot wings,
yeah,
the hot
absolutely.
sauce.
So, I saw John Bernthal was on with Ebon Moss Bacharach, the who played Cousin and the Thing
Yeah.
in the Marvel universe. So they were on together doing a doing a face off, and it was very, very good, very enjoyable. Highly recommend watching that. So
Yeah, they're like childhood friends because they were interviewed for something recently. I think they're doing like a play or something. They're in together, and I saw they're actually friends from childhood. They lived together when they were struggling actors and all
yeah,
sorts. So
they do
it's interesting they both ended up in the Bear.
they ad lib, and they've both now ended up in the Marvel universe as well.
Also
They
true.
ad libbed a scene, bouncing off one another, going through the alphabet, and
Yeah,
each line as they passed back and forth had to start with the next letter of the alphabet, and it was just brilliant. Yeah, worth a watch anyway.
nice, nice. So yeah, so the live action world seems to be taking care of itself at the moment. Obviously going further afield. You've Spider-Man coming out in the summer. You've got Doomsday coming out towards the end of the year as well. So yeah, it seems like there's a lot of exciting projects coming out. There was a couple of lean years there, maybe just coming out of
Mm,
COVID or coming out of a little bit of apathy for how many movies were out at the time. But they seem to have scaled back a little bit, which is nice.
mm.
And
Maybe
trying
movies
to make
aren't
them
dead.
event. Well, it feels like they're trying to make them events again. You know what I mean?
Mm,
It's like when Marvel settled into like four movies a year, they didn't feel like events, but when it was two
no.
movies a year, it felt like events.
Yeah. If only they would
So
do the same in comic books, make events feel like events. That would be pretty cool too.
one event a year in comics maximum, please.
I would say
That's
one every 5 years would be grand.
well, especially if you're going to play with the whole, things will never be the same ever
Yeah,
again.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, you
yeah.
can't do that every year, I'm afraid. But we'll
Uh,
talk about more of that more in the previews catalog in a sec.
yeah, probably, probably. So speaking of comics, shall we move on?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, previews catalogs came out there in the last week or two. When I did a little episode of my own when you were away, I did go through the Marvel book. At that time, it was the only one that had been released.
Hmm.
So I did a brief overview of it, but there were a couple that stood out for you. You just wanted to call a bit of
Yeah,
attention to.
I mean, I think you were
Speaking of
exactly
events,
right. I think you were exactly right, and what you said in terms of what I would be looking towards. So I think you mentioned Avengers Armageddon,
hmm
which is this summer's event. Seems to focus on off the back of One World Under Doom, Thunderbolt Ross, the Red Hulk, wanting to plant an American flag in Latveria, tearing across the globe and having to be stopped, and taking a gathering of Earth's mightiest heroes to do it. The Avengers, Fantastic Four, Wolverine, and more. So we're obviously seeing the lineup for that right now in Captain America, written by Chip Zdarsky, and
yeah,
in Wolverine: Weapons of Armageddon,
Weapons
also
of
written by Chip
Armageddon as well.
Zdarsky. Two absolutely phenomenal books. Really enjoying them, tying into one another and tying into this. Does of course suggest that there will be a pre-Armageddon Marvel Universe and a post-Armageddon Marvel Universe. They don't quite say this will change everything, but they do get close to it. So be
They
here to
definitely
bear
get
witness
close.
to the transformation. So I mean, we need some sort of a transformation in the Marvel universe, so I'm here for it. I'm excited about this one. What about you?
Yeah, no, I fully agree. I mean, Chip Zdarsky's always has always been a favorite. I mean, I love Devil's Reign. Devil's Reign was a wee bit of a play on Civil War, but I
Uh-huh.
absolutely love
Yeah.
Devil's Reign. You can see now the best elements of it are being taken for Born Again as well.
Hmm.
And yeah, full faith. I mean, I'm enjoying Captain America at the moment. I'm enjoying Wolverine Weapons of Armageddon. So if this is what it leads to,
Yeah, I
as
just
to whether it'll be a universe reset or just moving the pieces around the board, we don't know. But
yeah, exactly. And
yeah,
it's
we
just
shall
yeah,
see. I think they definitely need a bit of focus, Marvel, and this could be the thing to focus them
yeah,
and give them a
100%.
focal point and build from
100%.
it.
Part of me goes, we've been hurt before here. Is this going to be the same? Are we just falling into the same trap again and again?
Yeah.
I definitely also been a wee bit more discerning with events, but this one genuinely has me excited. Also, then Spider-Man: Long Way Home, which in the same sort of way of Wolverine Revenge, is Jonathan Hickman teaming up with a superstar artist, in this case, the absolutely fantastic Adam Kubert
Hmm.
of the Kubert lineage. It looks like it's a five-part series. It's like I think Wolverine Revenge was, if I recall. It's sort of set slightly sideways of mainline continuity, as Wolverine Revenge also was. And it features Spider-Man, Hulk, and Punisher, I believe.
Hey, they're in a movie together soon.
Hey, it's a word before the Punisher, a word where the existence of the Hulk is but a whisper of rumor, a world where AIM has just developed the cosmic cube in the jungles of South America, where Frank Castle, Bruce Banner, and Peter Parker are all on a mission to keep the cube out of the wrong hands, including each other's. In this three-way free-for-all for the part of the cosmos, who will come out on top? So, looking forward to that. Again, Jonathan Hickman. I'm always happy to see what he's doing, and I think maybe given how for whatever reason, he sort of was pushed off the Krakoa stuff, pushed off the Ultimate stuff. Maybe at Marvel, these something shorter like the 5 issue Wolverine Revenge or the 5 issue Spider-Man would be good. So looking forward to seeing that. And then I think, as you also mentioned on your wee one shot solo podcast, just about Marvel, I am very much looking forward to the Bishop miniseries written by Saladin Ahmed and art by Mario Santoro, who I don't know. Obviously, we know Saladin Ahmed. Been up and down with a lot of people. I jumped off as Wolverine, but his Miles Morales was absolutely Spider-Man was absolutely fantastic. So really looking forward to seeing what he does with the time lost X-Man. I've been a huge fan of Bishop since his creation back in the day. And the front cover very much has his old XSE uniform. It features his sister Shard. So really looking forward to that. Bishop has always lived by a strict code, but that code will get called into question when his sister Shard is sent to the present right before she died. Will Bishop adhere to his principles and protect the time stream, or will he risk it all to save the most important person in his life? Superstar writer Saladin Ahmed will put the tough as nails mutant through the ringer. So, yep, all for Bishop.
Yeah, I know he's one of your boys. It's like going back to the 90s once again,
Yeah,
which
buddy.
probably not be the last time we mention going back to the 90s throughout the rest of this podcast, but nostalgia sells, nostalgia sells. But yeah, no, as I say, the Marvel book was out the last time I'd recorded, but since then the DC book has dropped, and also the independent solicitations have dropped as well. So we'll throw a few recommendations out for that. I mean, from DC, there's a clear winner for me, and that is the next level book, which is The Dead Man, number
Hmm.
one. So this is created by the Ice Cream Man team. So the writer is W. Maxwell Prince. The artist is Martin Morazzo. They recently teamed up as well for oh God, what was it? Superman Kryptonite Spectrum, which was very,
Uh-huh.
very good.
Yep.
So yeah, this is a new one. This is launching on the 3rd of June. So in the millisecond following his murder, the soul of shifty circus aerialist Boston Brand was commandeered by the goddess Ramakushna, who deputized the erstwhile performer's ghost with the sacred spectral assignment. Try saying all that 5 times fast.
You did.
The, cus- the custodian of all souls. Now Bran floats begrudgingly through his blue-green purgatory we call Earth, upholding the laws of spiritual math and protecting humanity from evil, even if they can't see or hear him. Open up to this new era of DC's most lively deceased superhero, the Dead Man, in a story about life, death, and everything in between, replete with paranormal activity, possessions, and a profusion of other poignant peculiarities. There is a lot of alliteration there. Profusion of other poignant peculiarities. That's a solicitation right there.
Uh,
Yeah, I think this looks great. There's some previews pages in the DC Connect book. Again, this is what I like seeing through Next Level. It's characters that maybe haven't had their moment to shine in a while. You had your Deathstroke, your Lobo, your Batwoman launches. and now this. So really looking forward to that. And again, that is a great creative team working together.
Is that an
Uh,
ongoing or is that
that is an ongoing. From what I understand, all next level books are ongoings
okay?
until they're not. I
Until they're
suppose.
not,
I,
yeah.
I think. I think what they're trying to do is show their faith in the books and say these are ongoings, not oh this is 6 issues and then if you like it, we'll continue.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
I like that. I mean that's a very old school mentality. I mean of
It is, yeah.
good storytelling is done through long runs rather than just 6 issues all the time. But one that is a 6 issue miniseries, which looks rather good and also sees an artist, if I'm not too mistaken, predominantly associated with Marvel, actually coming to work at DC. So this is Supergirl Survive, brand new one of six. So again, Supergirl movie coming out. DC are starting to put out some Supergirl books. Again, good planning. So it's written by the Supple Boys. If you don't know who they are Ethan Parker and Griffin Sheridan. They used to do podcasts with Donny Cates and
Stegman.
we call him Rand Stegman, but now they actually do one with Matthew Rosenberg, Ideas Don't Bleed, which is very, very good. But they're now comic writers in their own right, and the art is Rod Rice. I'm pretty sure Rod Rice has been pretty synonymous with Marvel for recent years.
Yeah, Rod
Certainly
Rice was
through,
on the New Mutants, I think, during Krakoa.
yeah.
And but did who am I thinking? No, I'm thinking about Riley Rossmo, double R. On the I was thinking about the Sandman book. You remember the
Yeah,
5 issue? Was about, but I think yeah, 100%.
yeah,
But yeah, I
Leslie
think
Dodds
yeah,
Salmon.
yeah.
But yeah, 6 issue miniseries, as I say. So Kara Zor-El lives a life of small problems. How are you supposed to hold a floppy little baby like her new cousin Cal? Who should she ask to the spring formula, and when will her father and Uncle Jor-El stop squabbling? But the planet Krypton has big problems like the militaristic dictator Zod ruthlessly crushing dissent and threatening to unleash the planet's most dangerous weapons on the opposition. And when things boil over and Krypton begins to burn, Kara and her infant cousin will find themselves trapped together in a prototype rocket struggling to survive in a hostile universe that doesn't care if they live or die, and which might prefer the latter. Breakout writers Ethan Parker and Griffin Sheridan joined visionary artist Rod Rice to tell the story of teenage Kara and infant Cal sent on a journey through the stars together, not apart, that is, as long as Kara can keep him alive. Again, preview art looks pretty great on this. It's an awesome main cover for the book as well. It just looks like some sort of pulp book from the 50s. Really like that sort of style that they're going for and that sort of tone. So yeah, that is one to look forward to as well. And then the last one, just to throw out once again a bit of info on. I think I chatted about it last month, but Absolute Catwoman launches June 10th. It's part of the next two Absolute books, Absolute Green Arrow and Absolute Catwoman. Written by Che Grayson and Scott Snyder, art by Bengal. So yeah, just wanted to throw a little reminder out. I think it got delayed maybe a couple of weeks. So
Mhm.
obviously still available to make sure you get your pre-orders in, get your first prints, and the latest edition of the Absolute Universe, which is never a
Mm.
bad thing.
Weirdly, I am not on any of those. Um,
You
just
mean my
didn't.
enthusiasm could not, turn you
Just
there?
not in this particular case. Not
You
in
wait
this
until I
particular.
review Dead Man #1. You just wait. I feel another Batman First Night thing coming on.
Do you? Do you? Oh, interesting. Cool. There were a couple at DC that tickled me. One is the compact edition that's dropping in the month of July. I should say these are July solicitations, aren't they? I don't think
Sometimes with trades, yeah, they solicit those maybe a month earlier.
in general though. These are the solicitations for June, right?
Yeah.
Cool. But so we're getting the compact edition of Injustice: Gods Among Us by Tom Taylor and Tom Derenick and Mike S. Miller and Bruno Redondo and a list of artists. But this is one of DC's classics, right? So forget the DC universe as you know it. Injustice Gods Among Us turns beloved characters upside down and inside out, reinventing the DC from the ground up with new dynamics, new histories, and new grudges helmed by fan favorite Tom Taylor. Superman is our greatest hero, but when the Man of Steel can't protect the thing he holds most dear, he decides to stop trying to save the world and start ruling it. Now the last son of Krypton is enforcing peace on Earth by any means necessary. Only one man stands between Superman and absolute power: Batman, and the Dark Knight will use any method at his disposal to stop his former friend from reshaping the world in his shattered image. So this collects the entire series of Injustice Gods Among Us Year One, and it's pretty good for new and long time fans together.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
Injustice, I went for sort of year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year
mm,
5, and Justice 2. There's a couple of omnibuses that collect everything. What I hope with this is that again, because DC haven't been too clear on this for the compacts, is are they going to continue stories? American
Mm.
Vampire has a book one, Why the Last Man has a book one. So if they're doing year one of Injustice, here's hoping a couple of months down the line they go, here's year two and here's year three. But
Mm.
again, have to wait and see on that one.
Yeah, absolutely. Other book that's setting me on fire at DC at the minute is Batman, is the core Batman title by Matt Fraction and Jorge Jimenez. So bear mentioning, we've got Batman number 10 releasing in June, and One Dark Knight can't keep the Batman down. The GCPD's Operation Peregrine struck a deep blow at the heart of the Bat family, but while Vandal Savage and his Tukos celebrate their victory, Batman is about to set the record straight. He knows how to take a punch. He knows how to get back up, and he's about to show Vandal Savage, the Minotaur, and anyone else who threatens Gotham City exactly what they're messing with. So look forward to the continuation of a run that I am really enjoying.
Yeah, no, Batman one's been great so far. I'll chat about it a little bit more further on, but yeah, Love Fractions run Jorge Jimenez predominantly on art as well. So yeah, great book so far. Um, then we have the indie side of things. Of course, indie, it brings in your Image, brings in your Boom, your Dark Horse, IDW, all these different publishers. And we say it every time, the sort of easiest place now to get this information is the League of Comic Geeks website. They
Mm-hmm.
do a really good list of everything that's coming out in those specific months. We no longer have the paper previews book, unfortunately. So yeah, that is the best way to get this info. But yeah, looking at Image, there's a couple of really good books, including one that's coming back, which I'm so excited for.
Oh, yes.
May even be my book choice of the month. But the first one I'll actually mention is also from Image, and it is an all-new ongoing series with the legendary Jay Lee on art. It's written by Robert and Lily Wyndham, and it is called Monster Racing League. I mean, this just
Yeah.
sounds fun. It sounds like it's going to have the depth of a puddle, but it sounds like it's going to be really stylish and really fun.
And it's going to look
When
good.
and it's going to look great. Yeah. So when 17-year-old Dev moves to Japan, she stumbles into an underground world of illegal street racing where speed is power and mutation wins championships. The high-octane sci-fi drama set in the near-future Tokyo is Fast and the Furious by way of K-pop Demon Hunters. There's some modern buzzwords for you there.
Sounds like
And
it belongs in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles universe.
yeah, might be right. Yeah, might be right. But the other Image title is, as I say, possibly book of the month for me. Anytime this title comes around, we recommend the hell out of it. It's always on our reviews list as one of the best books around. It's had a little bit of an extended break, but it did have a little bit of space filled with a brilliantly set Western in the same world with the Enfield Gang Massacre. We're of course talking about That Texas Blood. Chris Condon in writing, Jacob Phillips on art, the two co-creators of this book. And every time That Texas Blood starts, it's new reader friendly. They're self-contained arcs. They jump a little bit all over the place in terms of what time frame they're going to cover. And yeah, I've full faith in this team. So, in terms of a solicitation, Sheriff Joe Bob Coates and Deputy Wilson Hart are called to the Allison Ranch, the largest and richest ranch in the United States, where family
Oh,
grievances are blooming into full-blown war. Quite simply, unmissable Western noir, genuinely one of the best books out there, and a great comic to give to people if they're not maybe comic fans. If you're trying to interest them in the art form, I would highly recommend that Texas Blood
great.
in general.
Absolutely cannot wait for that. Cannot wait for that.
And then one last one from myself. I will admit this is not something I read, but we've got plenty of fans in store, so I just want to keep you guys up to date. June sees the relaunch of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers with a brand new #1, written by Marguerite Bennett with art by Andrew Griffith. Pretty cool Jim Chang cover there as well. So this is your jumping on point if you're a Mighty Morphin Power Rangers fan. A new uniform for a new era of the future is now with this visionary relaunch of the globally acclaimed Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. It's been 10 years since the original Power Rangers turned in their morphers and went their separate ways. But now they've been called back to the legendary command center to face a new terrifying form of a familiar foe, Rita Rabiosa. They may not be teenagers with attitudes anymore, but are they still the same heroes they once were? This feels very Last Ronin-y, doesn't it? It feels very
So
like,
this is the original Power Rangers as adults.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah, that could be
interesting.
interesting.
Uh-huh.
New York Times best-selling comic book writer Marguerite Bennett, who worked on the likes of Batwoman and DC Bombshells, jumps into the command center joined by industry veteran artist Andrew Lee Griffith, who's well known for Transformers, G.I. Joe, so perfect marriage of material there, to usher in a new era of Power Rangers, making it perfect for new readers and long-term fans alike. So, if you're a Power Rangers fan, do not miss out on that one.
Cool.
But speaking of nostalgia,
100%. And whenever it's done well, that's fantastic work. And it was great because in our script that we line up before we start, you had picked this one for me, knowing that it was going to be that it was going to be my pick. Really looking forward to this. Releasing June the 10th. From Image Skybound is Mask Number One Mobile Armored Strike Command. The new series, the next phase of the Energon universe starts here. The world is becoming a terrifying place. Matt Tracker needs your help saving it. Enter Mask, a network of specialists recruited to respond to the next global emergency. At a moment's notice, Tracker and his agents can deploy bleeding edge technology that converts their vehicles and their drivers into the ultimate weapon. But when Miles Mayhem and Venom are one step ahead in the secret arms race, scouring the globe for deadly weapons from this planet and beyond, ready to sell out the entire human race. Only Mask can stop them, but will Tracker's own secrets jeopardize their entire mission? Powerhouse creators Dan Waters and Pi Power launch the most anticipated series of the year, where anyone and everyone in the Energon universe must join the fight for humanity's survival. So the lead into this has been absolutely phenomenal in G.I. Joe and Transformers. As we featured Matt Tracker and started to see some of the stuff that's happening, the initial sort of announcement of it, and just the way the Energon universe is growing with these Mattel properties and just threading them through one another is just phenomenal. It's great world building. It just is lovely. And while I am not a fan of artificially inflating the art industry with variant covers, some of the covers for this look absolutely class, but no less than the cover A wraparound. Um, so yeah, 40 pages. I am
Yeah,
excited about this.
good team on this. If you're not too familiar with Pi Par, he's predominantly worked with 2000 AD, but he did a really great
Mm.
book for Image a couple of years ago called Petrolhead with 6 issues. Rob Williams wrote it, so 2000 AD team practically there. But highly recommend that Petrolhead. Really, really fun sort of street racing. You know, it's sort of like the old racer. Does he have one more race in him against all these new upstarts and that kind of thing? And it's very steampunky, very just it's almost got a very big manga influence. But yeah, highly recommend it if you're not too familiar with his work.
Yeah, but yeah, so yeah, super excited about this and how they've been threading it through and how the Energon stuff, the actual, how Miles Mayhem will be going after Energon or Energon weapons, and which obviously have been are totally linked to Transformers and what. So yeah, excited about this one.
Yeah,
Uh,
should be good.
so
Anything in the Energon universe, they have us.
yeah, 100%. Another universe that is just doing phenomenal stuff is the Image Ghost Machine imprint. And they're releasing the $1 trillion Kid number one on the 17th of June. Uh, Written by Jeff Johns, Peter J. Tomasi, and art by Stefano Simeone. Uh, Among Us are and the world's first 13-year-old trillionaire wants to find them. His world abounds with wonder and spectacle, including the robot bodyguard named Sterling, all trying to make the world a better place. But Tommy learns quickly that money can't buy everything and propels himself on a journey that sets the stage for this entire new universe. So this is the first part of a four-part miniseries that's going to called The Unbelievables. It's going to run through the $1 trillion Kid, I think, the Rockefellers, Halo and Hornsby, and I don't know if it finishes in the second issue of the $1 trillion Kid, maybe. But yeah, I mean everything. The unknown war stuff has been absolutely phenomenal for Ghost Machine. I'm enjoying the Rocket Fellas. I'm not on Halo and Hornsby, but I'll probably pick up that issue. I just over the past couple of years, I think we've just obviously Rook Exodus, Redcoat, all of that sort of stuff. We've just come to trust what these guys are laying down with Ghost Machine. And the other really interesting thing is every Ghost Machine issue is cardstock cover. It's all high quality paper. It's top of the range creators doing something they love, and it's all coming in at the 3.99 price point. So
Yeah.
why can't Marvel and DC take note? Um, but
Yeah, I mean
because
it's the same with
they
Walking
should
Dead
be,
Deluxe, sure. The same paper
yeah,
quality, same cardstock
you
cover,
know,
brand new
why
covers
can't
for
why
every
can't
issue.
two why can't two companies that are supported by two of the biggest corporations in the entertainment industry, suck on a wee bit of that money and do the right thing? But here we are. So yeah, looking forward to this one as well, the $1 trillion Kid. And as I say, that is the uh, the first issue of Who Are the Unbelievables, which will also run through Hornsby and Halo and Hornsby, or Hornsby and Halo. Can't remember which one
Hornsby
it
and
is.
Halo.
And also the Rockefellers. So they're sticking with Image. Again with Image Skybound. We have on June 24th the release of the next Universal Monsters series, Universal Monsters Blood of the Wolfman #1. So we're currently finishing off Phantom of the Opera. And all of these Universal Monster books have been great. Would you not agree?
Absolutely. Great
Yeah,
level
so
creators working on them each
yeah,
time as well. You
yeah,
know, you've had
100%.
Pinion writing, you've had Dan Waters writing, you've had Ram V writing, you've had Danny on art, you've had Martin Simmons on art. Yeah, just top
Yep.
level creators for every book.
And no less for this, we've got Joshua Williamson writing this one and Leo Max on art. So Adam Yeager thought he would become someone new at college, but not like this. One moment he was partying, the next he's recovering from a massacre that left almost no survivors. The worst part, he might be responsible as the monster within tries to claw loose. Adam will do anything he can to stop from becoming the Wolfman. So looking forward to that one too. Now I did only pick two issues in my DC pick, so
Always stretching the rules.
if I can have
Always.
your forbearance. Honestly, I don't think either Marvel or DC were fully doing it for me this month, but they're definitely making up for it with the indies. So Dark Horse are releasing on July the 8th, one I've been looking forward to for a long time, and that's Three Worlds, Three Moons Foundations #1. This is one that we've been looking forward to from Mike Huddleston and Jonathan Hickman. So Jonathan Hickman writing, Nick Spencer writing, Mike Del Mondo, and Mike Huddleston in art. Now Hickman and Huddleston did fantastic work on Hickman's last indie book, which was Decorum. It ran for 8 issues, multimedia. It looked absolutely phenomenal. So this is this is apparently going to be and has been sort of tipped as Hickman's big world building book, and we know that Hickman does world building really well.
Love a
So
bit of word building.
from New Exactly. So from the New York Times best-selling and multi-Eisner Award nominated creator of East of West, The Manhattan's Project, Decorum, and more comes this ambitious science fiction universe presented by comics titan Jonathan Hickman. The next great comics universe starts here with the from the extraordinary creative team of Jonathan Hickman, Mike Del Mondo, Mike Huddleston, and Nick Spencer comes an epic sci-fi saga on an intergalactic scale across a distant solar system and countless millennium-long cycles. A war has been fought between the forces of magic and science and order and chaos. When astronaut and explorer Tajo Valar undertakes a doomed expedition to a dormant moon full of mysteries, the conflict begins anew and more dangerous than ever before. Don't miss this perfect starting point for everything to come as a new universe is born. So I'm looking for this is going to be magazine size, sort of perfect bound, 48-page sort of dealio. So if sort of high concept sci-fi is your thing, then I think this is for you. Certainly for me.
Well, this is a very interesting one, Three Worlds, Three Moons, because this started life as a Kickstarter.
That's right.
And I backed it. Now to give you an idea, this was successfully funded on November 28th, 2024. Not
Woof.
2025, 2024.
Uh-huh.
So there's basically going to be one volume, which is what I've backed, which is going to be the three opening editions, which is this one, Foundations, as well as one called Shift and one called Arrivals as well. So the latest update said it was going to press this month. So I would say by the time this comes out in serialized form through comic stores, I'd say Kickstarters will be being successfully funded. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it looks glorious.
Yeah.
When I saw the talent involved and the idea behind it on Kickstarter, I was straight into that.
Yeah, buddy.
So yeah, plenty to look forward to there coming out in June. As I say, anything you want to pre-order, just get in touch and we can add those to pull lists. The books, of course, are all in store for DC and Marvel for you to flick through, but again, indie stuff. Unfortunately, either you need us as your source of information, League of Comic Geeks, or you can obviously check the previews board in the store as well. I'll always pick out some indie stuff on there. Now, this is an interesting part for the next part of the podcast because it's picked up this week that I'm really excited for. Keith picked a lot up this week. This
Mm.
this is not necessarily week current.
No.
This is several weeks current. But I'll throw a few things in for myself. I'm mostly up to date on pulls and all the rest. But ones that I was really looking forward to for a start is Sacrificers #19. So
Lovely.
Sacrificers is a brilliant Rick Remender book, art by Andre Lima Arroyo and Dave McKaig on colors. Interesting story to this one is that 19 came out this week. Issue 20 got shipped to us 2 weeks ago.
Oh, good.
So at least now I
Good.
can read
Yeah.
19 and 20. But Sacrificers is actually coming to an end. Issue 21 is going to be the end of the series. So when that all gets collected, highly, highly recommended. Speaking of highly recommended and Vertigo comics, Bleeding Hearts number three is out this week. I don't think you're on Bleeding Hearts, are you?
I'm not on it, but I am enjoying some of the other Vertigo stuff very much.
Well, Bleeding Hearts issue one was good. Issue two was fantastic.
Very good.
Issue two, I think, showed where it's going to be going. So issue three, definitely looking forward to that. Fury of Firestone launched this week, so this is the next DC next level book. So again, focus on maybe lesser known characters or lesser utilized characters, I would say. Jeff Lemire is writing on this, and Raphael De La Torre is the artist. So
Hmm.
that's a cracking creative team there. One that I'm looking forward to is that you'll probably not garner anything from the cover of it because this is the cover that I got for it.
Hmm.
Uh, the reason I have this cover is because I am a stickler for Jenny Frisson variants, but it does mean I don't pick up the cover. It's just the variants. But it's a book called Neighborhood Watch. This is you might remember a book a few years ago we recommended quite highly called Eat the Rich. Sarah
Hmm.
Gailey was the writer on it. This is her next one, with to do with nosy neighbors and neighborhood watch groups. Looks rather good.
She did Eat the Rich, and then she did a Space Station one.
Yes.
Can't remember
Oh,
what it was
the
called.
name escapes me for that
Yeah.
one.
Hmm.
And then the last thing I'm looking forward to this week, or most looking forward to, I should say, it's actually a graphic novel. It's a book that came out years ago, but it has plenty of meaning and sentimentality for the store. Got released in a new edition, which is Happy,
Hmm.
Grant Morrison and Derek Robertson. What's great about this is it's a deluxe edition with 10 extra pages that have never been released before. So it gives me an excuse to reread it. It was only four issues. Great series. One of the first series I ever got Vicky into through comics.
That's right.
So much so that she has happy tattooed on her calf muscle. So yeah, highly recommend it. Just a great one and done book. Got turned into a TV show with Christopher Maloney, which was on Netflix. First season was great. They changed the ending of the book. I haven't seen season two as a result. Because how
Good
dare they?
response.
So
Good
how dare they?
response. I don't have my single issues with me for that week. So yeah, as Alan says, I picked up 3 weeks worth of pulls. We're recording the week of April the 8th. So I picked up April the 8th. So I picked up April the 1st. And I picked up the last week of March, the
March.
25th of March. I'm through my 25th of March ones. So the stuff that I'm most looking forward to is coming from the 1st and the 8th. My next the next read on the top of my pull list is Daredevil 1, which I'm very much looking forward to. I know you've already read, so less said, easier mended. Thank you very much. Um, so that's Stephanie Phillips, isn't it, on that?
Stephanie Phillips writing and Lee Garbett on art.
Yeah, lovely. So looking forward to that. Ghost Machine released the first of a number of Ghost Machine guidebooks. So that's sort of I suppose the
Man, that's a
source
guidebook.
books. Oh, absolutely, the source books for the Ghost Machine universe. I guess I mean, they do these, data pages at the end of an awful lot of the books. Whenever they introduce a character, but really looking forward to that line of stuff. Of course, Superman, Spider-Man was released, the Marvel DC crossover. So very much looking forward to that. Transformers 31. I always look forward to Transformers as the secret of Megatron is going to be revealed in issue 31. That's an April 8th release. He's a vision that will change the course of his life, and no one in the Energon universe is safe. And I'm also really enjoying the Mortal Thor at the minute by
It's Al Ewing, isn't it?
Al Ewing and Pasquale Ferry. Great art and very well put together. Thor is currently occupying the mortal form of Sigurd Jarlson, who hasn't been we saw a long time ago, and these last 9 issues have just been really, really cool. So very much looking forward to those. Yeah, I think so. Dai's in there as well. Dai's been great.
Yeah, loads of good stuff out over the last couple of weeks. So it's not too surprising that you'll burn through that list quickly, I would
Mm.
imagine. I mean, certainly in terms of the books recently that I've read that really, really enjoyed, we've chatted about it before already. Matt Fraction's Batman is pretty much going from strength to strength.
Hmm.
Issue 8 focusing on the new status quo in Gotham with Poison Ivy, Pamela Isley becoming mayor of Gotham.
Yeah, that's an odd one, isn't it?
Yeah, and you have Ra's al Ghul, or not, sorry, Ra's al Ghul, sorry, beg your pardon. Vandal Savage in her
Vandal
ears,
Savage.
sort
Yeah,
of trying to be the devil on her shoulder and trying to
I can see how
basically
you
make
could
it,
get your immortal villains mixed up there.
you know, you know. But at least I corrected myself in time.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, it's an interesting one because he's pretty much playing devil's advocate and trying to sweet talk Pamela into declaring official war on the Batman. He, of course, is commissioner at the moment. It is an interesting status quo in Gotham at
Hmm.
the moment.
Yeah.
If you were trying to interest new readers, it would be interesting because
And
they'd
then
be like, "So Vandal Savage, is it not Commissioner Gordon?
but
He's
Commissioner Gordon's now
He's a
like
beat cop.
a beat cop,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
he's been knocked down to a beat cop. But yeah, the whole status quo of setup's brilliant, and I'm enjoying Batman a lot for the fact that every issue almost feels like a one shot. Like issue 7 was the Joker issue, for example.
Mm.
This is the Vandal Savage Poison Ivy issue. Like they're taking their time to build up this status quo in this universe,
Oh,
which
isn't
is
it
great.
great to see an ongoing taking its time and just slow
Oh,
build,
imagine.
telling stories, great art. It's that this is why I'm loving this book. It feels solid, feels connected, and it feels like they're taking their time.
Yeah. Speaking of taking their time with possibly one of our favorite books of the last couple of years between the two of us, it's always interesting to me when other people go, "Have you heard of this book? Has anyone read this?" Because we never stop talking about this book.
Yeah, this was brilliant. Dan Waters
Uh,
was phenomenal in this. Yeah.
yeah, so of course I'm talking about Batman Dark Patterns. It got its trade paperback release a couple of weeks ago. I do find it interesting that they didn't release a hardcover at the same time because this is a book crying out for a hardcover.
Mm,
But maybe
beautiful.
they've got a deluxe one in the works or something. I don't know. But anyway, it's as Keith said, written by Dan Waters, art on this by Hayden Sherman, who of course is the artist on Absolute Wonder Woman. This is
Beautiful.
just pure stone cold brilliant Batman storytelling. Early on in the career, still establishing his relationship with Gordon, still a mythical figure to criminals who don't know whether to fear him or if he even exists. It also incorporates in some new villains. It incorporates in some lesser used villains, which is great to see. This is not a Joker book. This is not a Riddler book. This is a Scarface book, for example. This is absolutely brilliant storytelling. Every 3 issues was a story arc essentially, and then all 12 issues are collected into this book. I love the idea that they could make this a label and like they could give up and coming creators a quick stab at Batman, the way they used to do with like Legends of the Dark Knight or Shadow the Bat, that kind of thing. And just give them 3 issues to tell a story, and see if they can prove their chops. But at the same time, if Dan Waters and Hayden Sherman wanted to do this for 100 issues, I would have absolutely no problem with that. So make it happen, please.
Hmm.
But yeah, we've sold out of this twice, with the orders I've got in. I've got more copies coming next week again. I think this is going to be a book that's a little bit like Batman and Robin Year One was, standalone 12 issues. People will discover this book more and more over time, I think. And then the last one that is definitely a big one for me, and a big one for the store, and Marvel's biggest hit in a long time, is Daredevil #1. Nice bit of synergy here. This is, we talk about this all the time that the big two really need to work on their synergy a lot more. DC have got a
Hmm.
bit better at it in the last few years, but this is one of the best examples of Marvel doing it. Daredevil Born Again season two's hit. People are enjoying the live action stuff. Boom, here's a Daredevil #1. Interested
Hmm.
in comics? Here's your starting point. And I'll not go into too much detail because I know you're looking forward to reading it, but
Mm.
this seems like a brilliant creative team. This is a street level Daredevil. This
Okay.
is the previous run, Saladin Ahmed's run. It was a little bit topsy turvy because it leaned into the supernatural, fighting the 7 deadly sins and all this kind of stuff. I enjoyed it. I understand why they did it because after the street
Mm.
level greatness of Chip Zdarsky, you maybe needed a slight, genre
Palate
shift.
cleanser, yeah. Hmm.
But we're back to proper Daredevil, roaming the streets of Hell's Kitchen. Matt's got a new status quo, which I'll not, spoil. He was obviously a priest in the last volume. That is not the case anymore. If ever there was a major Marvel book that I know the words clean lines are gonna come out of your mouth once you've read it, it is this book. This is
Yeah,
this is
great.
the epitome of clean lines. So Lee Garbutt's one of those artists I think's been great for a number of years, but
Hmm.
hasn't quite had that book to elevate them to the next level. I think that's what we're going to see now. And, the brand synergy is working. This is by far the most pulled Daredevil book we've had and since we've been open. It's, keeps selling out off the racks, the blind bags, as much as they're a necessary evil, whatever, have added to the intrigue of the book and added to the sales and added to the interest. And a second printing's on the way. So this is an unqualified success for Marvel, and critically across the board, it's pretty much being held in high esteem. I don't think it's really linked to anything else, which might also be one of its strengths. It
Hmm.
feels very precise and clean rather than having to be linked to three, four, five other tricks.
Brilliant,
So
brilliant.
yeah, Old Hornhead is in good hands and long may it rain because,
Yeah, I feel like
Daredevil's my guy.
I feel like the Marvel street level side of things is kind of elevating a wee bit. So obviously we have a Jed McKay on Moon Knight for quite some time. So
Must
street
be
level
about
character.
4 or 5 years now, maybe, is
Yeah,
it? Jed
yeah. We
McKay, like
have
he's long.
Jason or no, Ben Percy on a fantastic Punisher series at the minute. We've got Daredevil. And again, yeah, I just there's a wee bit of synergy there with the Punisher, I suppose,
Yeah.
as well. But yeah, I think that it feels like the street level of Marvel, which is often where Marvel really succeeds. Spider-Man's just he's a neighborhood level rather than
Would that be anything to do with less editorial interference, do you think?
it's very possible. It's very
Chip
possible.
Zdarsky talked about it all the time. Like he loved writing Daredevil because editorial left him alone. Whereas
Mm,
if he was to write Spider-Man, it goes through that because Spider-Man is like their most
is their
protected
flagship
brand.
character, yeah. Uh-huh.
It's like you got to jump through hoops just to get anything into a story. So I think that's definitely true.
Yeah, sure.
I doubt Punisher gets an awful lot of oversight. Same with Moon Knight. Certainly at this point, I mean, Jed McKay and Dev Pramanik have more than proven their chops with that book. So I think they can be trusted either way.
Cool. Few that I'm really looking forward to that one. Obviously, that will be my next read. I'll get that out of the way
Top of the pile.
in
Top of
the
the
next
pile.
hour or so. So yeah, worth mentioning. Ben Percy on The Punisher #2. I really enjoyed that yesterday. The idea that Punisher's had his brain screwed with by Kingpin. Uh, Micro was involved, so Punisher's now got Micro back, and they're trying to figure out why he's almost having stroke-like symptoms as a result of this. So just a really good, hard-hitting issue. Jigsaw's back, and just a horrible, horrible villain. Really enjoying that. Sticking with Marvel, second issue of Wolverine: Weapons of Armageddon was phenomenal by Chip Zdarsky. This includes some looks back to Weapon X, and also includes Agent Colton, the Captain America of the Iraq War, he was in the first arc of Chip's Captain America. So all really crossing over as we move towards Armageddon in 3 months' time. Very much enjoyed that. Looked great. One for Stuart, Skinbreaker #7, the penultimate issue of this 8 issue tour de force by Robert Kirkman and David Finch. Really enjoying it. Really enjoying it. We finally see some sense coming to the community as the beasties attack. So that's been very, very cool. Looking forward to the final issue, which again I think it's a huge size issue and it's sticking with the regular price point. Again, Image know how to do it.
I am looking
Um,
forward to a nice big deluxe edition of that collected.
mm,
Lovely
yeah.
big oversized hardcover. Let that artwork absolutely sing.
So this has been 8 years in the making, but as I understand it, Kirkman and David Finch are working on something else as well.
Other
Uh,
than 193 Walking Dead deluxe covers.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They've got another series I think in the works that was mentioned in the letters page here. Another Marvel one. I really enjoyed the finale of New Avengers #10. This has been a secret wee series. I don't think a lot of people are on it. It's
Sam
not
Humphries, is it
Sam
Ryan?
Humphries. It's not a hugely celebrated creative team, but it looks good. It kind of is a wee bit. I suppose it leans into that Thunderbolt / New Avengers of the movie. We have Bucky, we have Black Widow, we have Submariner, Clea the Sorcerer, uh, Laura Laura Kinney Wolverine, and Eddie Brock Carnage in there. So it was very, very good. Uh, the Brutal Dark, absolutely phenomenal.
Speaking of That Texas Blood team,
Yeah, that Texas Blood Team. Yeah, Chris Condon, Jacob Phillips. But the second issue of this Ezra Kane mystery was just phenomenal. But I think the standout for me the last couple of weeks is one that I have been reading most of last
this
year.
is going to be the most random thing anyone has ever heard Keith talk about on this podcast. May I add, is this an
S-
Image book?
This
No.
is no,
Is this a
nope,
Marvel book? No.
nope.
Is it even a Boom book? No.
No, it's
Take it
not.
away.
It's by a little independent imprint publisher called Amp Studios. Amp Comics, so very, very, very interesting stuff here. So this was It was actually a 10-part series because it had three first issues, three separate entry points into the story. And obviously, I asked Alan if he could get me this after we saw it in previews. Uh, was going very well up until issue five, I think.
4 or 5, yeah.
One of the it was issue four, sorry, and we got issues six, five, six,
5, 6, 7,
five,
8,
six,
and
seven,
four
eight,
never shipped. Yeah.
and then four just never materialized. So in the end, we talked about it, and I ended up having to order a very overpriced issue off.
I even looked for this when I was in Las Vegas. I went to
Yeah,
three
I know
different
you
comic
did. I know you
stores,
did.
and two of them looked at me like, "What? What is
What are
this
you talking
book?"
about? But so I finally got issue four, which meant I could reread the whole lot. So I reread the three entry points. So anyway, the series is called Never Wars, and great series. I love sort of alternate fairy story stuff. The Great War rages in Europe, consuming a generation of children. Never Wars follows new recruit Georgie Bird. He is the grandson of Alice Hargreaves, who is Alice from Alice in Wonderland. It follows American nurse Dorothy Gale, who once made the trip to Oz, and a German youth called Peter, who is Peter Pan, who has forgotten Neverland, as they all confront the worst humanity has to offer in the trenches of the Western Front of World War One. Each finds themselves drawn back to Neverworld, a place where all the classic childhood lands and characters connect. So connects, Oz and Wonderland and Neverland all in the same place, only to find that that too is consumed by war. And the Jabberwock has created a terrible weapon that can turn anyone into a villain, even those of the most pure heart. And they must try and save their childhood fantasy lands before evil takes everything. It's like a gripping comic series that reimagines those classic characters of Neverland, Wonderland, and Oz in this dark setting, set against the backdrop of World War One. And they navigate the fantastic realm that's also embroiled in war. Georgie's this young soldier. He's escaping the horrors of the trenches, stumbles into a world where he encounters twisted versions of the characters his grandmother told him about. And she herself is there. Dorothy, who is a symbol of innocence and kindness, faces internal and external battles when she's manipulated by the malevolent Jabberwock into becoming the Wicked Witch. And Peter's struggling with his transition into adulthood when he must take on the burdens of leadership and responsibility. Uh, from his old foe, Captain Hook. So it was absolutely fantastic stuff. Just really enjoyed those first three issues again, and then it was a really brilliant self-contained story. Just a brilliant miniseries. The way it should have been done. Really.
Yeah, it's such an
So
interesting
yeah,
little quirk. It's that type of thing that, as you say, you really like that just is really out of left field.
yeah,
You know.
yeah. I feel like this would have been a Roddy one if Roddy was still podcasting with us.
hmm I don't even know if there's been a. Let me just see if there's been a trade paperback even solicited thus far.
Mm,
Yeah, there's been one solicited. It was in the February book, so I don't know, maybe May or June. But I'll get a couple of them in. I know you'll
yeah,
be
see
able to
what the
talk a
crack
couple
is.
of people into how great they are.
Yeah, and man, it looked great. The art was phenomenal. It was
Who was the creative team on it?
nobody you would know. Um, Nobody you would know. Let me see. Uh,
That's the thing. I already knew it was a random publisher, but again, it wasn't one of those ones where
um, so
I sort of knew the
the
creative team.
the writer was Dan Handfield. He's the co-creator of History Channel drama series Nightfall. Won a Saturn Award for his directorial debut Touchback, starring Kurt Russell. And
hmm
his first comic series, The Rift, was picked up by Steven Spielberg and Amblin as the season finale for Amazing Stories. He was the producer on The Founder, starring Michael Keaton, which was one of the best movies of that year. So yeah, it looks like some yeah. So and let me see, the artist was an artist called Marcello Basile. Began career in comics in 1990 as assistant to Jorge Zafino, working for Eclipse Comics and Marvel. Um, yeah, there you go. Worked with San Francisco-based Blackjack Press, Zenoscope Entertainment, and worked for RPG publisher Monte Cook Games.
hmm
Interesting. Yeah, very left field, as you say, but nonetheless, very, very enjoyable.
Excellent. Well, I'm just glad it was worth the effort of getting that last issue for because that was
It's-
a bane of my existence for a while,
yeah,
I can tell you. There's
it
nothing worse
was
than feeling you're letting people down, but
I know never, Alan, never. You always try your best, but in the end up, it was just like it was an eBay purchase, and I had to pay a hell of a lot of money on shipping. But sometimes I don't know. We talk about the completionism, and trying to shake that, but this was just a really good story, and so I really wanted that issue four just to complete the story, so I could read it, and every issue did something. So.
yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. Well, as I say, I was glad that you were able to complete it in the end through slightly different means.
Lovely then.
But yeah, that is going to do it for us for this week. It was good getting a bit of a catch up there. We obviously have been going predominantly through the books there that came out at the start of April. It's going to be a big week next week in terms of releases. Absolute Batman 19 comes out, first appearance of the Absolute Scarecrow. So I've no doubt that's going to be a big book. But lo and behold, I've already had my Diamond email. Delivery is going to be a day late next week. So it's
Oh,
going
brilliant.
to be a busy one for me when it does arrive on the Tuesday because any absolute Batman week is a big week. But one to look forward to as well. It's always great that the store's so busy for it. But yeah, good catching up with you, my friend. I will
Yes,
leave you to go get caught up on your other 2 weeks worth so that we
absolutely.
are fully caught up for next week and return to our regularly scheduled programming. So
Perfect.
hope you guys enjoys this as ever. You ever want to join in the fun, feel free to leave any comments or anything that we've chatted about. And otherwise, I'll see you in store throughout the weeks.